Hi, my name's Andy. You might recognize me from...
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Straight up jorking it.
Or you might not. Whatever. Anyways, the coming of November means audition season for DCI 2025 is officially here. And if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you're interested in auditioning for a drum corps this year. And I remember being in your shoes. I have now spent 5 years marching drum corps at the Bluecoats. Well, technically I only marched 3.5 seasons, but I was a Bluecoat for 5 years. Here I made a nifty chart to help clear up some confusion. I remember going into my first audition camp for the Bluecoats. I was a nerdy band kid. I had been to a couple drum corps shows. I learned the metamorph trumpet solo. I mean, come on, didn't everyone? This video is one of what will hopefully be a 4-part series with various tips and advice about how to do drum corps, from the audition process to preseason preparation to all days in the summer. Some quick disclaimers: this is in no way a comprehensive list of everything you need to do drum corps good. I also obviously can't guarantee that if you follow all the advice in this video, you'll have a perfect audition or a perfect summer or anything like that. These are just a few tips, lessons, words of wisdom, etc. that I think anyone could benefit from going into drum corps for the first time. They're things I certainly wish I knew going into it. My hope is that these videos will be just one small part of your overall research and preparation for your audition, your season. And by the way, I'm not just going to tell you to practice. It's November. I really hope you've been practicing by now. Anyways, enough yammering. Let's get right into tip number 1, which is to actually audition. Now, this might seem kind of silly, but I believe this is the one step where like 90% of people don't follow through. A lot of people will see a drum corps Instagram post saying, "Come audition." You click on the link to the sign-up page and you think, yeah, I kind of want to do that. But somewhere along the line, a lot of people make the ultimate decision not to do it. And it makes sense. Auditioning is scary. You're putting yourself in a situation where you could be rejected, where you could be told, no, sorry, your dream isn't happening this year. Trust me, I get it. I didn't get a contract the first time I auditioned, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that the experience of auditioning is absolutely worth the possibility of getting cut. And here's why. Going to an audition camp and experiencing what it means to audition is about so much more than just the audition itself. Usually an audition camp is an entire weekend long, or at least a whole day. And if you do some quick math for a sec, you're probably only actually doing the audition part for about, 10-ish minutes or so out of that 1 to 2 day experience? So what are you doing the rest of the time that you're there? It might not seem like it, but even just during the audition camp, you're spending time preparing to do drum corps. Even if you don't make the corps this time around, going and experiencing an audition camp will give you the knowledge and the tools you need to have more success the next time around. And I'll give you a few examples. During an audition camp, you're probably going to experience what a day or two of rehearsal actually looks and feels like during the summer. Now, you may not be in the hot sun all day if it's a winter camp, and you're probably not loading up a tour bus later that night, but you get to experience how a rehearsal at that drum corps is usually run. You learn their warm-up routine, you learn their approach to technique in your respective section, and you get to experience firsthand how a rehearsal sort of flows at that drum corps. But that's far from the only thing you learn. You get to learn about the staff that would be in front of you all summer if you were to march that drum corps. You get to meet all the caption heads and the techs in person. You can even shake their hand if you want, but don't be weird. You get to experience firsthand what their teaching style is like and whether you like it or not, which could actually be a huge factor in deciding whether that's the place you want to end up marching. You also get to immerse yourself in the atmosphere and the vibe of the drum corps. And this one's huge. It's not something a lot of people think of, but it's really important. Every single drum corps is going to have their unique culture that has been created over the years by the members and the staff. If you have a finger on the pulse of the drum corps community, you may have a general idea of what the vibe is like at each of the different drum corps, but there's no better way to know than to actually immerse yourself in that culture at a weekend camp. Even if it's just for a day or two, you'll get at least a small sense of what it feels like to be a member of that group. And if you're wanting to spend an entire summer with them, it's pretty important that you feel like you're going to have a good time. But what if you know you want to march drum corps eventually, but you know you don't want to do it quite yet? You definitely want to march somewhere before you age out, but for one reason or another, it's just not happening this summer. Maybe you're planning on taking summer classes, maybe you're planning on working or interning somewhere, or maybe you know you're way too young and you would get absolutely destroyed by a summer of drum corps. That's the situation I was in when I first auditioned at Bluecoats. I was only 15 at the time, and I knew that even if I somehow got offered a spot, there was no way that I was going to sign a contract. I knew I was too young and I had absolutely no business marching a world-class drum corps. That being said, my mom convinced me that going out and auditioning would be a good way to practice for next year when I knew I wanted to do it for real. And she ended up being absolutely right. Thanks, Mom. I ended up going to the audition camp, and I even got invited to the callback camp, and it was overall a great experience. I learned what the audition process was like, I learned what rehearsals were like, I basically did all the things that I've been talking to up to this point, and I got to do it all without the stress or the pressure to win the audition because I knew I wasn't going to march anyway. When I went back for the second audition, a lot of the staff there recognized my face, recognized my name, and recognized the work that I had put in over the last year, and the rest is history. Moral of the story, even if you know you aren't going to march this upcoming summer, there are still plenty of reasons to go and audition anyway. You'll familiarize yourself with the drum corps, with the audition process, you'll get your name out there, and who knows, maybe it could boost your chances next time around. The worst thing you can do is to take yourself out of the game before you audition. Don't assume you're going to get cut before you give auditioning a shot. The whole point of an audition is that the audition is where the evaluation happens. There are no criteria you have to meet in order to go to the audition itself. The staff of your drum corps of choice don't want only the best horn players and only the best drummers and only the best dancers to go to the audition. They want you. You have absolutely no way of knowing how an audition will turn out before you do it, so please, please, please do not disqualify yourself. Who knows, you might surprise yourself. Like I said before, auditioning is scary, but hear me out for a second. That's exactly why you should do it. Doing a drum corps audition is great practice for any audition you'll have to do later in your life. And if you think about it, you're even practicing for like job interviews down the road. Being able to put yourself out there when you're super nervous and you might get rejected is a very, very useful skill to have in literally every walk of life. If you'll let me get deep for a second. Drum corps is an activity that gives you so many more life skills than just marching and playing and spinning. The sheer number of soft skills that you will learn will help you in every endeavor you embark on for the rest of your life. Responsibility, teamwork, discipline, time management, and yeah, auditioning. The list just goes on. It's a great, healthy challenge for yourself that, even if you don't get the results you were hoping for, I truly think you'll be glad you did it. Tip number 2 is to talk to people. Now, you might be thinking, talk to people? I'm a band kid. The only reason I did band in the first place is because I'm socially inept. To which I'd say, don't worry, I'm right there with you, pal. But of course, when I say talk to people, I specifically mean talk to people who have done drum corps before, because nobody knows drum corps better than the people who have actually done it. Talk to the vets or the age-outs who have marched at the drum corps you want to audition at. It's as easy as finding someone on Instagram or Facebook and shooting them a message that says, hey, any advice for auditioning for this drum corps? You might even be able to find someone who's willing to watch a video of a mock audition and give you some feedback. I've gotten countless messages over the years about auditioning for drum corps. It's totally normal, and while I can't speak for everyone who has marched drum corps, I can pretty confidently say that most people want to help you succeed on your journey so that you can experience the joy that they did marching. This also applies for when you're at the audition. Find the people wearing the corps jackets and go up and introduce yourself. You know, without being weird about it. Just read the room and don't interrupt if it looks like they're doing something important. Allow me to let you in on a little secret about people who march drum corps. We all love attention. There's a reason we decided to give up a whole summer just to be looked upon and screamed at by a bunch of band nerds. It's a cool feeling being the microest of micro celebrities in this tiny niche activity. We all wear our corps jackets and our necklaces to every fall band competition we can, even when it's like 115 degrees out and there's absolutely no reason to be wearing a jacket. I am fully aware that walking to Military Park on finals day, wearing my English flag pajamas, and carrying Ferdinand the log-splitting axe was when I hit my peak as a human being. This is the coolest I will ever be, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. The point is, drum corps vets enjoy being approached by the new cats and asked about their experience. And there's no better way to learn what drum corps is all about, what a certain drum corps is like, what this one instructor is like, what this is like, than by talking to the people who have done the thing. I know it can be a little scary feeling the sort of power dynamic there, I get it, but I promise if you get to know these people even just a little bit, you'll come to realize at the end of the day, we're all just band kids. We're all the same type of weird. It's awesome. Tip number 3, preparation is key. Now, obviously, practicing your etudes, your warm-ups, your beats, your work, etc. is very important to your audition. But practicing is just one of the things that falls under the umbrella term of preparation. Preparation is sort of the cumulative work you have done to set yourself up for success in the audition room. Preparation includes other components besides practicing. Things like learning how to manage your nerves, familiarizing yourself with the drum corps technique packet, even things like making sure you have everything packed for camp and getting enough sleep the night before the audition. I specifically want to talk about managing your nerves for a second because I honestly think that's probably one of the hardest things to prepare for, and also I think it's a crucial step that just gets missed by a lot of people. I don't care who you are or how many years you've been marching, when you step into the audition room, you're feeling the nerves. Your heart rate goes up, your breathing gets a little shallower, your mind sort of goes blank. It's very difficult to prepare for how you're gonna feel when you go to audition. One of the best ways that I've found to go about this is mock auditions. Find someone who is willing to listen to or watch your audition and actually perform your entire audition for them, just to get used to performing in front of people, instead of just alone in a practice room or a gym. Some other tips for dealing with stage fright: focus extra hard on your breathing. When the adrenaline rush kicks in, one of the first things to go is your ability to breathe deeply. And when you stop breathing as deeply, there's literally less oxygen going to your brain, and you end up making silly mistakes that you've never done in your practice. When you're up to bat in the audition room, remember to take deep, relaxed breaths and just go with the flow. Another thing that has helped me is to micromanage the living crap out of every single part of your audition. I'm talking about breathing in the exact same place in your music every single time, maybe even blinking in the same place every single time. The more detailed of a game plan that you have going into it, the easier it's going to be to get your brain to focus on what you're doing, even in the midst of all the nerves you might be feeling. Practicing your skills alone is like 80 to 90% of good preparation in my opinion, but there are just a few details outside of your music or visual practice that can help set you up for success. And trust me, it's apparent to the person conducting your audition whether you've taken the time to fully prepare yourself. You make different mistakes when you haven't prepared enough. If you have a bad articulation on one of your notes, big deal. You have an entire summer to work on articulations. But there are a lot of errors you can make that aren't just, I need to work on the skill more. I should have spent like 5,000% more time preparing my audition. Now, if you go up to anybody in drum corps, staff or student, and you ask for some advice on preparing your audition, one of the first things they're probably going to tell you is to find a private instructor. Find a private lessons teacher, whether it's someone at your school, someone local in the area, or maybe you want to take online video lessons from someone who's done the thing before. And if that's you, you're in luck, because I'm happy to announce that as of the release of this video, I am now offering online private drum corps lessons to any and all brass players, or people learning brass instruments for drum corps. I'm offering both music and visual lessons over the communication app of your choice. With my busy schedule, I have a limited number of time slots available, so if you're interested in taking lessons from a drum corps age-out with several years of experience surrounded by some of the best educators in the marching arts, please check out the description of this video for more information and a link that'll take you where you need to go to sign up. With audition season right around the corner, I'm offering a pretty hefty discount for your first lesson, as well as an option for an intense 2-hour-long private workshop to really polish up your audition before you head to camp. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to help you reach your goals with an individualized plan to not only improve your skills in the marching arts, but to help improve the way that you practice on your own time so that you can get better faster. If any of this sounds appealing to you, check out the description for more information. With that out of the way, we're going to move on to tip number 4, which is a concept called humble confidence. And to talk about what that is and why it's important, I've invited a special guest onto the show. Please welcome one of my greatest mentors and best friends, Kendall McNelly.
I thought a bit about this question. I think it applies in many different areas, specifically for auditions. That's when you are showing the most of yourself. You're trying to prove that you have a place in this organization.
Right.
And that is when you have to have that blend between those two words of being humble, being teachable, and having that confidence.
I'm curious if you could give examples of what it might mean to be humble, what it might mean to be confident in the context of marching band, specifically like a drum corps audition.
It's a good question. I think being humble in this context is very much being teachable. Having the confidence to know that I have these sets of skills and I can perform them at this level, and trusting that those abilities are going to arise. And then being humble is knowing that nothing's perfect. You're always striving for this high level of excellence, and there are people literally hired here to bring you to that level, to get you closer, to give you more on your skill set, on your tool belt, and just trusting that what they say has merit, and being able to apply that. It's really hard to be teachable when you are arrogant and you feel like you have everything on your belt. It's much easier when you feel like you don't know anything. And trying to find the balance between those two is really where the humble confidence comes into play.
I think leaning too far in either direction of that sort of spectrum can be bad in both ways. I think being too humble, you become kind of a pushover. You start like apologizing for mistakes that you make when you're playing or when you're marching and things like that. And then obviously being too confident gets into the territory of arrogance when you think you're the best, you think you don't need this information that the staff is here to give you. And I've certainly seen examples of both in my days.
Yeah.
I love the idea of finding that balance. I think, finding the gray area between black and white ideas is a big part of drum corps in general.
I will say this concept was really important to me throughout all of my drum corps history.
There's kind of this sense of seeing the people who have marched your dream drum corps, seeing the people who have done that before. It's like those people are celebrities. They're so far above little old me, but that's not the case. Every single one of those people were in your exact shoes at one point or another. 9 times out of 10, for people walking into their first drum corps audition, maybe this is their second, third audition at the same group. Obviously, there's a fear, there's a stage fright, there's a nervousness. It's important for people in that position to really bring out that confidence, to make sure that the pendulum isn't too far on one side and is meeting that balance.
Something I tell all of my students, it's a quote that I really love from Alex Hormozy: confidence is built by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. And then he usually says after that, outwork your self-doubt. And I think that's a very succinct way of putting this concept together. Add undeniable proof that you are someone who's capable of making this line. And that proof is all of the videos that you've filmed of you practicing, or all of the hours that you've actually put in doing this one particular exercise. That's where drum corps confidence comes into during the season. It's like, hey, we spent 6 weeks doing this one thing, and that's why we are the best. But it's doing the exact same thing, trying to prep for an audition.
Absolutely. It's not like you just think to yourself, oh, I'm too humble, I need to be more confident. Now I'm just going to start being more confident. It's like, no, there are things that you can do to build that confidence, and it's preparation. Yes. It's, talking to people, getting a better understanding of the undertaking that you're approaching. Things that can sort of help you swing the pendulum further to the side of confidence, and to ultimately set yourself up for more success during your audition. So Kendall, thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. This is all great stuff. This concept of humble confidence, like I said, is something that I've taken with me throughout my entire drum corps career. And even just in life, it's something that I personally try to live by. Kendall is the founder of a marching arts / drum corps educational organization called .1. It operates out of southeastern United States. Kendall, would you like to tell us a little bit more about .1?
Yeah, we like to call ourselves a visual performance clinic and a drum corps audition guide. It's mainly for kids who want to march world-class drum corps, and we kind of help them build a roadmap to get from where they are in their current skill set, add more to their game, and get them a better idea of how to approach a drum corps audition and how to approach drum corps as a whole.
So this past weekend, you guys held your annual clinic in Georgia. Tell me how that went.
It was really great. Our second year was a fun success. Lots of new people, which we're super excited about. But we do about typically 6 hours ish of instruction, all the way from basic visual technique to performance mindset to then dance and choreography to even a kind of a workshop audition class where we kind of go through the fine details of choosing a drum corps and then auditioning for a drum corps.
So like I said, you guys just had your annual clinic for this year, but if you are in the southeastern United States area or you like to travel, you can expect to see another one of those clinics next October?
As of now, yes. We currently are planning to do our typical annual program in Chattanooga. However, we plan to expand, go to some other states. There's a lot more people that I love to teach with that are all over the country. And so hopefully we get closer to a lot more people that follow us who aren't able to make it to Georgia or Tennessee.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you guys have had kids come through that program who end up going on to make world-class drum corps, right?
Yes, we had most of our class go and audition for several other drum corps in the top 5. We had kids go to Madison Scouts, go to Spartans, and actually win gold for 2024.
Nice.
So there's certainly a variety and lots of kids going to several different places. And I think this year we're going to have about the same.
If you're interested in checking out .1 or anything else that Kendall has going on, I will have links to all his stuff in the description below. So once again, Kendall, thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. It's always great to hear from you.
Yes, of course. Much appreciated, and thank you for the opportunity.
That's gonna pretty much do it for this video. I hope it has been at least a little bit helpful to your drum corps journey. If you have any questions that weren't answered in the video, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can shoot me a message on any of my social media accounts linked on my YouTube page. If you're a drum corps vet and you have some advice that you'd like to share to auditionees that I didn't cover, feel free to talk about it in the comment section. And if you have friends or students that might find this video helpful, please share it with them. Once again, if you're interested in taking private drum corps lessons, there's a link in the description that you can click for more information. If you think any of the advice that I've shared here is helpful or in any way good, you can show your appreciation by liking the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to stay tuned for the next videos in this series. I'm planning on making another one of these videos for callback season, the spring preseason, and then eventually a video about how to succeed during the drum corps summer. And with that, thank you so much for watching all the way through this video, and good luck with your audition. Now get back to practicing.